Okay, let's just dive right in. What if one of the most famous objects in the Bible wasn't just a staff, but a secret map of the human body? That's what we're exploring today, the Staff of Moses, but seen through a totally different anatomical lens.
So you might be thinking, a blueprint? How? Well, the idea we're digging into here is that the Staff of Moses isn't just some historical relic. No, it's a symbolic blueprint for spiritual awakening, one that's hidden right inside our own anatomy.
All right, so if we're going to read this map, we first have to decode its two main symbols. You've got the rod, and then you've got the serpent that it transforms into. And the parallel here is, well, it's incredibly direct. On one side, you have the rod, which represents the human spine. Think of it as our central energy channel. And on the other, the serpent. That symbolizes the raw, powerful life force that's said to be coiled up inside every single one of us.
So let's break that down. The rod, which is the spine, isn't just a bunch of bones holding us up. In this view, it's seen as the actual architecture for our spiritual evolution. It's not just anatomy, it's a ladder, a kind of conduit for higher consciousness.
Okay, so remember the story. Moses throws his staff on the ground and bam, it turns into a serpent. Well, that's meant to symbolize this powerful life force at its most, basic, physical, and dormant level, just coiled up and waiting, right there at the base of the spine.
And this is where it gets really interesting. The number 33. Why is that significant? Well, it just so happens to correspond directly to the number of vertebrae or segments in the human spine. It perfectly reinforces this idea of our own bodies containing this sacred ladder, a ladder with 33 rungs to climb on our soul's journey.
Okay, so we have the parts of the map. But this isn't just an anatomy chart. It also lays out a really clear path of transformation, showing us how to get from that dormant state to a fully activated one.
Think about the sequence of events. First, the serpent is cast down. That's the life force, dormant and uncontrolled. Then it's seized by the tail. This is a super powerful allegory. It's not about grabbing a real snake. It's about a spiritual seeker learning to take control of that raw internal energy, and then raising it upward, consciously directing it right up that spinal path.
So when that serpent is just slithering around on the ground, you can think of that as our consciousness when it's just stuck. Caught up in the chaos of the material world, all the distractions, the ego, the daily grind. It's what they call the bent path.
But here's the thing. That chaotic, bent path, it isn't the only option. There is absolutely another way.
And this is the big transformation. When that energy is finally mastered, the snake becomes a vertical staff again. And that symbolizes a direct, focused, straight path. One that pulls our awareness away from all the noise and leads it right back toward its divine source.
So what's the point of all this? Why go on this upward journey? Well, according to this interpretation, the goal is twofold: profound healing and ultimately illumination.
And this connects to another famous story, right? The one where Moses lifts up a brazen serpent on a pole to heal the Israelites. This is seen as another piece of the map. The instruction to look upon it isn't literal. It's a call to raise our consciousness, to elevate our focus to higher spiritual centers, basically to counteract the poison of being totally wrapped up in material concerns.
Okay, so this energy is rising, but where is it going? What's the final destination on this internal journey? In these esoteric traditions, the journey ends at the pineal gland, right in the center of the brain. You've probably heard it called the third eye. The idea is that activating this center brings about true illumination. It's what frees the individual from the bondage of Egypt. And Egypt here is just a symbol for all of our limitations in the material world. So this full activation, this spiritual flowering, if you will, it's beautifully symbolized in one last related story.
Remember the story of Aaron's rod? It was just a dead piece of wood, but it miraculously budded and grew almonds. This is seen as this incredibly powerful symbol for the result of this whole process. It's all about life and consciousness flowering in a place where it was once totally dormant.
And here's a detail that's just fantastic. The almond shape of the fruit? It's seen as a direct biological link to the shape of the pineal gland. It's the perfect symbol for the flowering of our highest spiritual centers in the brain, representing that final attainment of inner divine vision.
So when you put it all together, it leaves you with a really provocative thought, doesn't it? If a story as famous as this one can be read as such a detailed anatomical and spiritual map, well, it makes you wonder,
What other secrets might be waiting for us hiding in plain sight, inside all the other myths and legends we thought we knew so well?